All right, welcome to a very special presentation related to e-commerce. And I'm super excited to be joined by a real expert in the field, Dr. Tracy Straub. She is the Chief Health and Growth Officer at GetHealthy Store, which is essentially a platform for health and wellness practitioners to really monetize their brand, their business in ways beyond the one-on-one visit in the office. And so I've known Tracy for a number of years. We've done a number of events together. She really knows her stuff. She's not only working at Get Healthy, but she's involved in a number of other ventures. She's working directly with practitioners like you. So she is definitely in the know when it comes to not just e-commerce, but any number of other topics. So with that, we're going to talk about a smarter alternative to WooCommerce, Shopify, and Fullscript. And we promise you an unbiased look at all the platforms, the pros and cons, so that when it comes time for you to think about how do I monetize my practice, that you have the right tools and the right strategy in place. So Tracy, welcome aboard.
Oh, thank you. I'm really honored to be here. I love everything you do for our industry. We so appreciate you. So thank you so much for having me. I'm going to share a little bit of a PowerPoint and just talk to everybody. And as Uli was saying, I am a practitioner. I have my own telehealth company. Just to give you a little background, I've been in the business for about 27 years. I owned a personal training studio for 15 years, and then I got into natural health, went back, became a naturopathic doctor. I'm primarily online. I have a telehealth company. I have 6 practitioners that work within that. We do everything from chronic disease to cancer, which is a specialty. Created a program called Quarterbacking Cancer. I had the opportunity of meeting John Armstrong, who's our CEO over here at Get Healthy Stores. When I worked for a brand, I was doing education for a brand, and that brand onboarded onto the Get Healthy catalog. And I saw the software and I was super impressed. And of course, I had my opinions that he didn't ask for, and I said, "Hey, could we
Mhm.
improve a few things? Can your software do this?" Because it seemed really great, but it seemed also like it needed to be more practitioner geared. And so here I am, 5 years later, still here at the company, probably still being a thorn in his side about all of my requests that I asked for, but I actually am in the field and I work with our software every day for my patient base. So I would love the opportunity just to show you who we are first, and then we can talk about WooCommerce and Shopify and Fullscript. All of them are great applications, but for me personally, I felt that I was not tech savvy enough. I didn't know enough about the marketing industry to embrace bigger softwares like Shopify and WooCommerce. And I used Fullscript for years and I loved it. But eventually I grew out of it. And so I wanted to show you my personal journey through this so that you can figure out if this is the right fit for your practice and what you're doing. So today's lecture is primarily about a smarter alternative to WooCommerce, Shopify, and Fullscript. And we're just going to talk about what Get Healthy is at the core. So we are a software company. We're a clinical e-commerce, but we're built for the modern wellness practitioner. And so what does that mean? Well, I understand, right? We have a unified ecosystem. This means we combine the e-commerce part, which is your store, with a clinical dispensary, which is how you do your recommendations, all your diagnostic tests that you're going to prescribe to your patients and clients. We offer educational bridges as well as marketing, everything in one place for you. Now, let's talk about your patient experience because that's probably the most important thing. I mean, I know when I had my affiliates going and I had my dispensary going, and then I had other documents that I needed to put into place. I think what happened was the patient experience became highly confusing. And so from the first touch point now to an ongoing protocol management system, my Get Healthy store will deliver a seamless branded experience. A lot of the questions I would get if I would send them to my dispensary would be, is this you? Because it wasn't my brand. It wasn't
Yep.
tracystopnd.com. It was just the third party dispensary brand, which is fine, but it did add a level of confusion. So what we did at Get Healthy was take that entire concept of full shopping experience, front your clinical view, your patient view, your customer view, and we combined it with a back-end dispensary for your practitioner. So in our wellness it's just fragmented, right? We have disconnected systems, as I was talking about. I don't know how many affiliates I had at one time. Even just understanding where to go to log in to see what my payouts were, if I was getting paid out. Most of the time people would circumvent my links because not on purpose, but I would send them a link and they wouldn't click on it right away. And then they would remember from the notes, like, oh, she said it was this, and they would go directly to the company and it would circumvent my link. I wouldn't get paid. The compliance was poor. I think my patients got overwhelmed with these multiple links I had to send them. And then that brand consistency. I mean, we're all about brand, right? I mean, when you get online, you're doing your webinars, you're doing your promoting, you're the brand. And so your people reform this relationship with you. They know you, they like you, they trust you. It's a big part of what we do. We're in a relationship business. So when it comes to brand consistency, we have to build that bridge, even when it comes down to products that we recommend or products that we want our patients to buy. And then there was limited scalability. The fragmented systems trying to connect and make everything work together, it became super overwhelming. So I sat back and I said with John, how can we create one unified system? What all do we need? Well, we need e-commerce. We need a clinical dispensary. We need to be able to put testing in there, not only to script, but I want to create a marketplace where my patients and clients can come back and choose a test, but I get notified as a doctor that they did that, and then I can offer them a consultation. How do we make that work? What about my education? I want to provide education, front end education, back end education. How do we make that become integrated into this ecosystem? What about protocol management? How can I create seamless protocols in the back of my store that I can script or even set to the front of my store that my patients and clients can come back and buy? What about marketing tools? I don't know all the software. What do I need? What's important in ecom? Let's just build that right in. And then what about fulfillment? I mean, the biggest thing that I'll tell my clients is if I have to send you something, you're probably not going to make it. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm just opposed to the postal service or what, but it is just a downfall for me. And so going to multiple brand dispensaries and going in, logging in, and then sending something on a drop ship model to somebody, and then they have to pay $12 shipping there. I go to another brand, they're paying shipping over here. It just became cumbersome. So, and also private label. Some of you are probably at the level where you're thinking about your own label. A lot of these dispensaries don't offer private labeling or to offer your brand on the dispensary. We do. So we can also fulfill for you. We can package and ship for you. We create inventory management systems for you. So we tried to create this one-stop shop for a wellness practitioner to take away the burdens that are really part of our everyday operational system and the technological system. So what we have is a store that actually reflects your practice and your digital wellness front door. So the products, your promotions, your recommendations, your educational resources, your testing, all in one place across your platform with your logo, your URL, your brand. And what's beautiful is we house a catalog that you can select these virtual products and put them on your store. Over 12,000 products across 8 wellness categories. So think about it. You're not just talking about supplements. You're talking about what they should eat, how they should sleep, how they should decompress, what energetic systems do they need, what equipment do they need, what about home care and cleaning up your environment. We talk about all those things. So what we did at Get Healthy Store was we kind of created this little Amazon wellness one-stop shop. But what's beautiful about it is it's not just a general catalog that your people are going to come in. It's a catalog that you control. So only the brands you want, only the products within the brands that you want, and only the wellness categories that you want. Super important because we want this to honor how you think, what your niche is, and what you teach your clients and patients. So this is your personalized wellness category. And we've put all the growth tools into the ecom. So you want a promotional banner that hyperlinks into a bundle into your store or into a product, we have that. You want featured collections that are yours that can rotate through a carousel, we did it for you. What about buy now links? So instead of taking them to a product page, we can take your promotion into the cart where your patient will check out instantaneously. Every time your patient has to click on something, you're going to lose 20% of that person. So let's say you're doing a webinar. You have this great webinar and you have 100 people in your audience. Now they have to click to a product you're talking about. Now they have to put it in the cart. Now they have to click to the next page. Every time that happens, you lose 20% of the people that went from your webinar to your site. So what we've done is create buy now links that land them not only in your store, but in the cart level. And we can apply a discount automatically. So that's going to increase your conversion substantially, increase your revenue, and allow you to scale and hire great people like Uli and the other people that he talks about to help grow your team. That's what we're really about. It's not just about protocols. We have to spend some time working on our business as much as we work in our business so that we can continue to get our genius out there and scale. And a lot of that is going to come from product sales. So one-click upsells, cart bumps, those are those fancy things that pop up on your screen and say, hey, people have bought this, also bought that. Would you like to add this to your cart? And it automatically processes that purchase for your patient. All of that's built in, no extra charge. We also can connect to marketing systems with your store. So while Uli's doing the lead acquisition, he's teaching you how to get clients into the chair. What we teach you is how to take that person that's in your chair. Once they're healthy and graduate from your consultations, they become a lifetime customer of health. Where are they going to shop? How are they going to become more educated? How can they capitalize on your genius beyond the chair? So we can do that with product sales, education, and educating them towards a reflective purchase when they're educated to need. And so we can use things like Go High Level, Klaviyo, Active Campaign. Someone can come in, you can talk about a red light that you love, it's offered on your store, they click on it, they buy it, and that can send them into a campaign or a flow that educates them not only on the value of red light, but also the products that will complement the effects, help them get better results, etc., and keep them within your ecosystem of always purchasing from you. I know you don't like to look like you're selling. I totally would say that too. I used to say that all the time. Now I love to look like I'm selling products. You know why? Because Amazon doesn't care about selling to my people. They absolutely want to capitalize on my genius and then they make the money on it. And what I find is my clients go over there, they're overwhelmed, they don't know what to buy, they don't know which products that I align with. And so they'll come back and text me a link and say, what do you think of this product? And I'll say, I think you should go and throw that in the garbage and come buy this product on my store because this is the one that I have vetted, the one that I align with, the one that I actually use in clinical practice and I know gets results. And you know what? They buy it because they trust me. We have to get out of the mindset that selling products is bad. These are our solutions to what we're trying to accomplish, which is health. And we have to be able to offer a space to our patients and clients that is safe, that is trustworthy, that is quality, and they will do it. The number one conversion factor on e-com systems today is not price. People used to be really smart price shoppers. They don't shop price anymore. Convenience is the number one conversion factor. That means if you have a place for them to go and you make it easy for them to get there, they will shop with you, hands down. So, and I know it because I do it. So before we jump into the back end, I'd like to just show you my store. Again, not every Get Healthy store looks like my store. This is my store. These are the products that I chose. These are my brand colors. These are my hex colors. So when you come into the Get Healthy ecosystem, you are going to be able to add your hex colors. If you don't know them, we can go take them from your website. You add your logo. You get to pick the categories that you want on your store. So these navigation tabs will actually auto-populate all by themselves as you pick products from these categories. So as you can see, I have everything from supplements to personal care items to equipment, anything from gym equipment, red light therapy, water filters, shower head filters, everything that I talk about as a lifestyle practitioner. I also have the ability to create bundles. So putting together not only products from supplements, but I can combine different products from different categories. So I can have a red light or a PEMF mat with a mitochondrial support supplement. So just think beyond what you're doing within your practice of just scripting supplements from a dispensary and how you can utilize this incredible tool to go educate, going from one to one to one to many. And now you're becoming an expert. Now you're amplifying your touch points. You're talking to the masses. They're looking at you for more information and where to go. We also have the promotional banners. You can hyperlink these into your store, away from your store. We also have the scrolling carousel. These can be your favorite products. You can put anything on here from testing to supplements to red light panels, whatever it is you like. So all of this is available. You can construct this look any way you want. You can change these. You have full control over everything that you do here. And if you notice, the URL is a shop dot. This is a subdomain of my main website. And maybe Uli can touch on that after the presentation of why that would be important to create subdomains for SEO. I know he talks more about ChatGPT now, and now I know how I have to get scaled in that since I listened to your webinar yesterday. So there's lots of things that we can collaborate on that really are going to bring your genius to the forefront and also increase your patient compliance, but also increase your practice profits, which is just as important to have a healthy business as it is to be a great practitioner. So I'm going to jump back into the PowerPoint and I'm going to talk about the dispensary aspect of our tool, and then I'll show you that. So the clinical dispensary, this is really when I came in to get healthy. I was like, I need some tools that make my life easy because I'm busy. I don't have a lot of time. And I think personally, protocol writing is one of the hardest things after the appointment, where you have to sit back. I transcribe my notes. I use a little bit of AI to help me organize them, but then I still have to go build this protocol and send it off to the person. So in our recommendation builder, we have created things like blueprint templates, resource libraries, protocol management tools, so that it's kind of like you build it once and then you can script it over and over again. And I'll show you all of those things. We also did the diagnostic integration with Avexia. Avexia was our partner in that. It's not just sending tests over to Avexia and then going to Avexia to get the results. And it's a 360. So not only can I script a test to Uli if he was in my care, but it will create his patient profile for me under my account in Avexia automatically. It'll send him the pay link if I'm doing patient pay to pay for that test, and then it'll send him the requisition. He takes that requisition, he goes, gets the blood draw, and when it's finished, that data not only goes into Avexia, into his patient profile, but it also goes into his patient profile in the store. Everything in one place, super convenient for me. And that's what we're really trying to do. So this helps us with faster clinical workflows. Those are some of the things that we have problems with. It's not just about being in the chair, it's the time you spend after the chair, working through protocols, improving that patient communication. The recommendation is going to include not only my notes, but I can attach resources. I can do multiple product categories in there. So I can put a blood lab script into your recommendation. I can put a PEMF mat or maybe a red light, maybe a water filter we talked about during our consultation, your supplements, of course, and maybe a few items if we're talking about, hey, I want you to do more keto. I can send you some food suggestions of like, here's some snacks to get started, and everything comes to their doorstep from one recommendation that they purchase. Super easy, high compliance. So the diagnostic testing build, that was a love-hate relationship that I had with the development at the time because it took so much communication, but we finally have it. We script the test, the patient completes it, the results are in the profile, and we can build that recommendation. So we bring that testing to the forefront. And I want to take a second to show you this because the marketplace is really important. A lot of times I'll have clients that maybe text me on the side and say, hey, I need to go get my blood work. Or I know you mentioned that I need the GI map. I want to do that now. So in the back end, when I log in as a practitioner, my catalog offering is here. At any time, I can add or subtract products and brands from my store, and I'll show you that in a minute. But we also have a lab test catalog. Now, this is going to itemize and show all of the tests that are available in Avexia. So you can see there's 1,900 tests. That's a lot. And I wouldn't put all those on the front of my store, but I might have a select few. And so simply by adding them or show on storefront, which is a click of a button for me, it will show up under this testing category with one click within 3 seconds of me adding it. Now I have a front-facing marketplace. I'm also going to get notified that you bought my test. I can put a miscellaneous fee on this test at the cart level, meaning when Uli comes in and he wants to get, well, he's not going to buy a Mira Fertility Max. We're just going to scroll down to what you would buy. Maybe this blood work panel he wants to get. It's going to create his profile in Avexia under my profile, or if he already has one, it'll just associate the emails and add the requisition right there. He's going to get the requisition automatically. I'm going to get notified he bought it. If I put an interpretation fee or an education fee on that, that's going to go into my pocket, and I'm going to reach out and get Uli scheduled so that we can go over his blood work together and know what to do next. But you can add any test that you want, Dutch test, GI map, all of this. Again, they are in your store, your brand. All of this is available on the front. Okay, so while I'm back here, I'm just going to talk a little bit about this dispensary tool because it is an important part of what we're talking about as practitioners. Again, before, if you have a Shopify or WooCommerce, that's your store. But then over here, you have to find a way to get recommendations to your patients or clients. And so we've built that all in one place. So you can go to the front of the store, send that URL to your patients. They also have a login up here. They do not have to log in, though, to shop your store. We've allowed for that Amazon guest shopping experience, which is high conversion because people don't want to wait. How many people forget their login, don't know how to log in? I don't know, this doesn't seem difficult, but for some reason, people have a hard time logging in. But now I can see all of my orders, the recommendations my practitioner has sent to me, anything that I have on subscription, if I have a multivitamin, whatever that looks like, any courses that I've bought. We do allow for Kajabi and Thinkific integration so people can buy courses on your store. You can bundle your course on GI health with GI solutions, and it can be one single bundle, as you can see here, labs, payments, etc. So on the back of the store, I'm going to create a recommendation. And this would be for someone in my care. Let's just select somebody. I'll just select myself because that's going to be the easiest thing to do. Apologies there. So this is our recommendation tool. And as you can see, there's a lot of things to look at back here. I'm not going to go over everything we offer, but we do offer pill packs, which you can construct your own pill pack. We do have an integration with Zymogen, but we also have an integration with Vitaboom. And when you build a pill pack, it's a very intricate, constructive offering that you're going to give your patients or clients. We have also allowed in this Vitaboom stack that you can use your own branded boxes. And that's what I do. So I have my own branded box. So when someone receives a Vitaboom pack from me, I can choose my box, which says tracystraupnd.com. I can also expose this box on the front of the store so people can come here and just shop pill packs. So if Uli wanted this incredible longevity pep pack, which is basically oral peptides, he could come here. I could send him this URL and he could purchase it. Now, I created this pill pack. I put everything in the pack. I also used a little bit of AI to write the description because I want to save time and be smart about my time. And then I said, hey, Elevate, you can grab this right now. And this is made fresh because it's an API integration. That means we send the pill pack rec right to the company, they fill it fresh, and they send it back. We also have tons of brands that are available. As you can see, you can make pill packs from all of these brands. So you can mix and match companies now. Isn't that cool? I always thought that was pretty cool. So pill pack technology, we've integrated that as well. Our products catalog, this is where you're going to go to either script testing. As you can see, your testing is going to come here. You can search for it by brand. You can add your already constructed pill packs like I have. You can add individual supplements, blood work, or what we call bundles. So these are things that you would put together. Say you wanted something for glyphosate detox. Well, this could be the bundle that you add into the recommendation if somebody has exposure to glyphosate. Now you can look at this and you can say, well, they need the ion gut, they may need the ultra binder. Maybe I don't want them to have the NR-DMG and I can take it out of the recommendation, but this just makes it faster for you. So you can just save that to the recommendation, one click, it's over here and ready for you to change any of the dosing, whatever you want to do. Easy send button right here is going to send it SMS text, or if you use a software that we're not integrated with, that's okay. You can do this fancy get link and you can hyperlink from your EHR system right into the recommendation by copying the link and putting it into the patient recommendation in your patient management system. So again, as a practitioner, I'm always trying to think about how do you use the software? What do you do with the software? How can we make this easier for you? So that's our back dispensary tool. The blueprint key, this is another feature that we have. If I wanted to add this blueprint, like a 30-day metabolic reset, I can add a practitioner note. I have the products already built in here. I don't have to do anything. I can just put that right into the recommendation, and it's going to be added and itemized. So we try to make this as easy as possible, not only for you, but for your staff. And so we do have permissions available within our software, everything from staff permission rule levels to practitioner to admin, owner. All of that is here for you. So I'm just kind of giving you a high level look because there's a lot of things that our software can do. But the main thing that it does is take that technological burden off of you. It takes the burden of you having to build a store, maintain the product catalog, hiring somebody to update pricing, update details, make sure you're staying compliant, make sure you're staying compliant with FTC and FDA, also the MAP policies of the brands. We handle all of that for you. We update your entire catalog. Anytime we get updates from the brand, we work directly with the brand. So all of that compliance is already built into your store. So as I said, enterprise level team management, user roles, security, patient sharing, compliance setting, everything is built in. We take the technological and operational burden off of you. I talked a little bit about private label earlier, which we do offer fulfillment and shipping for you. We also offer inventory and warehousing for your private label. But we will build your brand pages, your product pages, your description. We put that all up there and we will update all of those things for you. We also can work with your rep with whatever brand you're private labeling with to make sure that you have enough inventory in-house, and we give you an inventory tracker to do that. So obviously this is a little more than a dispensary. It's clinical efficiency, patient compliance, operational scale, and most importantly, brand ownership. And yes, it seems big. So that's why we give you a team member, because we know that you're going to need somebody to talk to all the time. So you get a dedicated account manager at no additional cost. This is a person that's going to help you with seamless onboarding. They're going to help you with strategic clinical and business development. These are people in the industry and have been in the industry. They understand our industry, and they also understand the value of your time and where you need to be spending your time. So they can work with you. They can work with your marketing team. They can work with your operational team to help you become super efficient. So, and it's a fraction of the cost. Like if you would look at what it's going to do or how much it's going to cost to build a Shopify, maintain a Shopify. And again, this is not a crack on these softwares. These are great companies. But when I stepped into the game, walking out of Fullscript, and I love Fullscript, but I came to this point where I wanted to go one to many. I wanted to become more of a clinical influencer. That's my own made up term, but it's what I am. I'm in clinic, but I also influence. I'm not one way or the other. And what I share mostly day to day is what I learn in my clinic. And so I didn't have the resources out of the gate to spend $10,000 to build a Shopify, to hire somebody. So when I met John, I was like, huh. I was like, wait a minute, for $99 a month, I can have everything I just talked about. And he's like, yeah. I was like, wow, that's what I'm going to do. I mean, I have kids, so I pay 7 times that for a phone. So in DIY of e-commerce versus Get Healthy, I just laid it out here. These are real numbers. It's not a better or worse. You have to figure out where you are in your company. You have to figure out what works. So that's why we do offer a free demo for you to come in and ask the questions that you really want to know of how can Get Healthy Store help me amplify, my product sales, help me increase compliance of my patients' wellness. Like, what all can we do for you? And I think that discovery demo is super important for people to do. I wish everybody offered it because it would save a lot of time when you build something and then you turn around and be like, oh, I should have done this. I've done that about 50 times over. Fullscript, when I came out of there, I loved it. One of the reasons that I left Fullscript was there was a firewall between my marketing efforts and them kind of coming in and having to log in. Plus, they didn't offer all the products that I started to talk about. And honestly, I got overwhelmed with affiliates. So again, when I met John and I found out about this concept, I was like, wait a minute, I can just have one URL. I don't have to have all these affiliates. I don't have to send them just for supplements over here to my Fullscript account, which worked in clinic great. But for what I wanted to do next, which was scale my business, I needed something a little bit bigger. And the relationship was important that it stayed with me. I don't like systems that make recommendations to my clients outside of what I recommend. And Get Healthy does not do that. We do not third-party market any patient lists. We believe that that relationship is solely with the practitioner, and our whole motto is to protect the practitioner's brand and their integrity with their clients and patients. So many reasons that I went to Get Healthy and I changed 5 years ago. I share with people all the time, my revenue went from zero to about 30,000 a month. And I do it very part-time. I don't practice as much as you guys probably do. And that's an important note. I don't market as much as everybody else does. I don't have the big teams like everybody else. I always say I'm a hack at best. I just do the best that I can. And with that, and trying to continue to point people to one place, it's really worked. I kind of stepped in as like the Amazon in the wellness space for all of my clients. And what I noticed is it built a lot of loyalty. They continue to shop with me. I have so many subscriptions on my store that I didn't recommend for people. They just do it themselves. So hopefully you can see some of the differences that we do provide. The practitioner built workflows, the lifestyle commerce, it's not just supplements, and then the growth and the ownership. I mean, we really try to help practitioners keep the recommendations, checkout, relationship, and revenue all in one place across many wellness categories. So I know Courtney's here. She can drop some links in. We do have lower level platforms for people that are just starting out. It's called Get Healthy Script. And we just actually launched Get Healthy Script this year. It's a free platform where people can start. And basically what that's going to allow you to do is kind of dip your toe in. If you're using a different dispensary and you want to be able to offer more wellness products in one place, but still have the free model, you can do that. If you want to explore the store option, which is what we primarily talked about today, you can visit us at gethealthy.store, or you can click that link. And I would advise get a free demo. Take the opportunity to talk to somebody about your business and how this fits. That's why we do it. So I appreciate your time. And Uli, if you have questions or comments,
Yeah.
welcome those.
Thank you so much for this comprehensive review. I obviously knew about Get Healthy for many years. And for me personally, I think the first sort of cornerstone was at the time, Fullscript had only supplements and the catalog of providers that they had. They had lots of SKUs, but obviously on a limited number of providers. So what if you wanted to sell an infrared sauna or PEMF mat or any of the other things that weren't carried by Fullscript? And so this is where then practitioners have to make a decision. Am I researching all these different relationships in all these products? And I remember John Armstrong saying, Uli, we have already built all these relationships that you should
Yeah.
probably be thinking about. We've already put the products in our catalog. You don't have to create all these accounts with different companies. You just come in and you select from our product catalog. Here's the stuff that I want to offer. And so that alone is a huge time saving because frankly, when a practitioner is strapped for time, you just do what you remember in the moment. Maybe you have two or three products that you put in there, and that's what you call it a day, and you move on. Now it's so much easier saying, oh, I like this. Maybe you go with a default catalog and recommendations and activate all of this, and then have a storefront in place that makes it easy. And ultimately, consumers want choice. So, that's why I think Get Healthy is a great place to start. And I tell folks interested in e-commerce, you better talk to John Armstrong at the Get Healthy team, because what they will tell you may change how you think of it. And again, I am a website developer, so I have lots of clients that wanted me to build e-commerce sites. And for all of you listening, whether live or in replay mode, the one thing I want you to really think through is it's one thing to build a WooCommerce or Shopify store, but you have to make all the decisions on your own, and you don't even know what decisions you need to make, versus coming in with something like Get Healthy that's, ridiculously affordable compared what you would do on your own. They maintain all the tech. Again, this is one thing that even for myself as a tech person, I don't want to manage the tech. If somebody else can manage the
Me
tech and I
neither.
don't even have to pay for it, great. If something breaks, they'll fix it. You don't have to worry about these things.
Mhm.
So I would like you to go a little bit deeper on, what has recently come out that consumers can do direct to consumer testing. There's functional health, there's obviously Fullscript now offering journeys. And what companies realize is, well, with consumers taking ownership of the health journeys, there's the Aura rings, the tracking, they're doing all kinds of things now outside the one-on-one relationship with a provider. Why is this such an important move that, consumers wanting to do lab testing, and why do they need more than just function health where they order the lab test, but it's not integrated into the flow? Can you speak to that part?
Yeah, it is important. I mean, I think when we look at AI, right, that's coming out, practitioners are either threatened by it or they embrace it. And, over at Get Healthy, we're trying to utilize AI to help the practitioner scale. So on the back end of our store, we have Jane. Jane is extremely important because she's a product catalog AI agent. She can search all 12,000 of our SKUs, and I can type in there really like, hey, show me products for PCOS. And she'll go search through the catalog and come back and list 47 products that we have in the catalog. And then me as the practitioner, I have the ability to go look at those, add them to my store. So we've offered those AI agents on the back end for our practitioners to help them build recommendations, pick products for their catalog, et cetera. So we thought about, what about the consumer, right? Somebody that's coming to my store. And so we're coming out with Amy, and she's going to be a trainable shopping agent. So, for example, I launched a big program this year called Quarterbacking Cancer. It's very specific to the cancer industry. And although, my practice was more integrative functional health, this one program has really kind of taken off. So, my Amy might be geared more towards cancer protocols and things that might help in the support of cancer. AI is here to stay. I really feel that we need a way to take data from people, what the market is asking for, take test results, et cetera, and be able to use that AI agent to help the practitioner formulate recommendations, help the consumer formulate better protocols for themselves. And I think the practitioner can still make the revenue because conceptually, we're the ones coming up with the idea, right? It's not like someone's going to go train their AI agent on my protocols within cancer. I can train that AI agent. So that revenue and that care and that compliance still comes back to me. But we need a way to connect all the data points and not leave people out there with results that they don't know what to do with. The practitioner is still very viable when it comes to that. And there's lots of companies like yours that are out there that are offering testing, and then people get the test, but they don't have the interpreter. So we can step into that gap and offer agents that will help them interpret. And then not only that, build a recommendation based on that interpretation, all within legal schemes, of course.
Yeah. And again, for everyone listening, the key point here is that when you're trying to bring a new patient in. Again, we're talking about how do you serve your existing patient population, but then also how do you attract new patients into your clinic? Well, one of the easiest gateway is if they are already looking for lab testing, why don't we make this available, but then also retain the relationship? As you mentioned, that, the big part is how do we continue to serve them? And we don't want to send them just to a platform where, like in the case of Fullscript, they have to first log in. They're not even sure why they need to log in, why they need to create an account. They're just expecting an Amazon-like experience. And so I think this is what 2026 has shown to me, that when it comes to trust, nothing beats the relationship that a practitioner has already built with a prospective patient or an actual patient. And you should be able to retain that relationship and take it forward and just make it technologically simpler. So Get Healthy is definitely a great platform for this. Other questions I had is sort of maybe can you talk about the typical tech stack that, Get Healthy clients have? I mean, you've spoken about your clinic, but I imagine, okay, you have an EMR, you have Get Healthy, and then you have a CRM. Are those the top three things, or do some people only have two of the three? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, well, me personally, I had to grow into each of those. It was just recently that I started to utilize Go High Level. To me, it looked like a big monster. It's just not my forte, and I had to bring somebody into my clinic. I think it's okay to talk to practitioners about, connecting the dots when they can. The very first thing is if you have an e-com platform like a store, even if you don't have a patient management system, which I don't think a lot of people always have those, a lot of practitioners. I see a lot of practitioners utilizing calendar software, but then they're keeping paper trails on their patients. That's where they are. The store can really take a burden of having to purchase products into their clinic. If they're virtual, then they have to also be the shipping department. That was the first hook that Get Healthy had me on. I was like, oh, I can recommend something and you'll ship it on my behalf, and I don't have to chase all these affiliate links. So it took like one set of burdens off my plate. As I scaled and got more clients, which now we serve 1,200 people right now, I had to get a patient management system. So I chose Practice Better. Again,
Mhm.
I had to learn it, build it, and I think there's a lot of learning curve behind those softwares for practitioners. So if we're talking about the real, of where practitioners struggle, it's the learning curve of every new thing. It's like, oh, now I need this system and I have to go learn it. And now I need this and I have to go learn it. And it becomes overwhelming. So I always tell people, like, eat the elephant one bite at a time. You don't have to get like a CRM over here and your ecom here and your patient management here. Like, choose what you need. So I chose ecom first. That's what I needed. It filled a gap. It allowed me to scale, got me some revenue, and then I hired my weakness. That person built my practice better. Then I scaled again. I brought in more practitioners, and then I hired my marketing person. That person did my go high level. So
Mhm.
that's how I built. Not everybody has those systems. So it's important eventually, if you want to go to a level of, nurturing flows, keeping people within your brand. You want to scale outside of the chair, not just grow your clinic, grow your influence, grow your revenue. You are eventually going to need those systems. But for me, I would say it's not necessary out of the gate. You got to pick what you need to help get to the next level and then connect the dots as you move along. So Go High Level has become our new software that we're playing around with, and learning the
Yep.
hard way most of the time of what to do and what not to do. But yeah,
Yep.
I don't think everybody has those out of the gate. That's why we do offer levels of our ecom platform too at different pricing. The free Get Healthy script is great for people who just need an in-clinic tool. The $99 level Get Healthy store that doesn't provide the branded URL, you don't care about SEO, you don't care about all that, you don't care about all the support, the marketing features. That's their next step. Then we have a second tier, then a third tier. So you can get up to our major package where you're connecting all these dots because they're ready. So our tool actually grows with the practitioner as they grow from clinic to influencer, if that's where they want to scale.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, for everyone listening, if you want to go to the platforms, go to gethealthyscript.com or go to GetHealthy Store .store.
Yep.
And we'll put the links around below the video so you have access to them. The other question I had is about the curated catalogs, and you spoke a little bit about inventory management. For those folks that are thinking about private labeling and obviously e-commerce, and maybe they're thinking just supplement for now, one of the things that a lot of practitioners probably don't really appreciate is the inventory management. It's easy if you have only one, one company, let's say Zymogen or whatever. But once you have products from different vendors, it just multiplies very quickly. It's like having inventory in store. And again, for virtual clinics and more clinics moving virtually, like the one that you mentioned that you're running, then the question is, well, I don't want physical inventory in my clinic. I just want to offload this. And frankly, I don't even want to manage all these shipments, etc. I want to have pick, pack, and ship, and somebody else ships it out. So
Yeah.
I think we should really highlight this more specifically because for me, that's the big warning sign when people think about WooCommerce and Shopify. I want to build my own store. Just because you took the money doesn't mean the product ends in people's,
Right.
home. And you still need to take the order. You need to place the order. You need to ship it or arrange for it behind the scenes. And so I think let's talk about the difference between, what you would have to do in WooCommerce and Shopify versus in Get Healthy, and maybe Fullscript, on the same side of the spectrum, that outsourcing that fulfillment, this is where a lot of the time and money gets just sucked away for no real upside.
Right. And if you don't have a good inventory management system, you don't know how to project your purchasing, you don't know what's expiring. All of that is important. So I'm going to start with our catalog first. So Get Healthy Catalog, what we have done primarily with almost probably 90% of our brands is we have a direct API integration with their system. So when someone purchases something from my store, a blue label product, right? Not private label, just a brand, that brand itself gets pinged to fulfill that product on my behalf. If we look at the Fullscript model, they actually house the products, which is why you don't have full lines of products, right? Because they're only housing so many per brand. And it's why they'll run out because they only purchase so many. When we have a direct API integration with a brand, we have their full catalog available. So if you want Zymogen, we have the full catalog. You want Designs for Health, we have the full catalog. Nutritional Frontiers, full catalog. So we're not physically housing those products, it's a virtual product. That's first. Second, when it comes to what you said, building your own Shopify, your own Woo, and you're going to fulfill products in your clinic, I don't think people realize how much time, packaging, shipping, and inventory management it takes that you have to have a dedicated person, especially if you have multiple SKUs, even from multiple brands. You are fronting cost of goods to purchase those products, bring them in, have them sit, and then you have to go forth and sell them. Again, you're going to be limited on number of products within a brand, and you're going to have a really good projection system to understand what you're selling, how much you should repurchase so that you don't run out. The worst customer experience is an out of stock product. It's the worst. It's also worse for practitioners too, because then they have to scurry around and figure out what else they're going to script. So that's a big part of it. Having that person to take it or to have a pickup scheduled, etc. So what Get Healthy decided was we have two warehouses that we can do fulfillment for. And then if you are doing private label, most brands require you to pre-purchase a set amount of number of SKUs and a set of number of products within those SKUs. Some will do 24, some will do 144 bottles. Do you have the storage space for that? Can you bring it into your clinic and put it somewhere? Are you going to be able to inventory track it so it doesn't expire and you're not losing money? So all of those are really important points because that's operational cost that's going to impact your overall profit loss at the end of the year. So Get Healthy will work with you or your rep to have the product sent from whoever you're white labeling with, have that sent right to our warehouse. We inventory check it in. We build your product pages. We put your retail price up. We put your description up, and it is ready to go. On the back of your admin login. You have an inventory management sheet where you can see we can set thresholds so that if you don't want your product SKU to go down below 6 on the shelf in our warehouse, it will ping you or your rep to say, hey, Dr. Tracy needs a refill on this product. And that company will then ping the doctor, set an invoice, the doctor will pay for the product, and the product gets shipped right to our warehouse. We mark it into inventory for you, and you're ready to go. You never have to do anything. So we package, ship, and fulfill, plus warehouse in a climate controlled facility. Um, and we help you manage your inventory. We use a software that the practitioner can log in. They can use that to project next purchases. So we're really trying to help the practitioner be more efficient, not only on the technological side, but on the operational side too. And I have to tell you, Uli, some of these practitioners have 40 SKUs of private label. Like it's not small. And I don't know how they were doing it on their own before utilizing us. And when they start to utilize us, they realize like, oh, so much easier.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I have. I know what I have to order. They don't normally don't even have to be involved in the ordering. They just have to text a yes to their rep, yes, send 144 bottles or whatever they're doing. So it really made their lives easier too.
I'm glad that you explained this so succinctly because I think if you don't understand the operational cost of fulfilling this on your own and all the headaches and all the things go wrong. And true enough, I mean, I've had clients that built their WooCommerce store and then they had to pay a developer $2,000, $3,000 a year just to keep it running.
Yeah.
That's money walking out of the door, and you still haven't made any sales. I mean, you need to pay that person and the infrastructure no matter what. So this is why I think having a hosted solution, fortunately, I mean, 5 years ago that didn't exist. Now it does. Um, so again, for folks interested in learning more, let's put up the links again. I think it was meetings. I'll put this around the video. Any parting words that you want to have for providers that maybe on the fence? What have you commonly seen where people are saying in terms of objections, well, I'm not sure if Get Healthy can do this or that. I mean, I personally felt that you've done a great job explaining all the possible use cases. And if practitioners want to test drive it and go through a demo, I think your account reps will be more than helpful to explain all questions that may have. But any parting words for our audience?
Yeah, I mean, I understand when you start something new, there's a learning curve to it. What I normally tell people is when you get a Get Healthy store, you don't have to do all the things. You just have to tell people you have a store. Literally, put it on your website as a shop tab and then send an email that says, go check out my store and here's a discount code and people will buy from you. It's really more simple than we make. It's like health, right? We can really complicate health. Or you can just eat right, think right, move right, poop right, pray right, do all those things right, and you're going to be 70% healthier, than you were when you weren't doing those things. So don't make it overcomplicated. You don't need big fancy, developers, and you can actually use a system that's already built for you and with a click of a button, have it done within 5 days. We have a very quick turnover. You get a series of emails, you sign up, series of emails. As long as you follow those emails, give us your colors, what you want your URL to be, what products you want. We can have your store up and running in 5 days. Now, I don't think that can happen on any other software. So simplify to multiply. That's really what I tell people. And don't make it so complicated. It doesn't have to be. Do one thing, do it well, scale a little bit, hire your weakness, and then move to the next thing. That would probably be the easiest information and advice that I have.
Well, thank you so much. I personally know that, for instance, Sachin Patel and all the providers in his group are using Get Healthy as way as one of the easiest turnkey solutions. And again, I think the core premise is always if you're building a virtual clinic, if you want to keep this low overhead, if you keep it simple and don't want to get your hands into all the weeds, then a platform like Get Healthy is probably the perfect solution that exists right now. So Tracy, thank you so much on behalf of the entire, organization that we present that, this is a great presentation. I'm glad our audience will get a lot out of it. And thank you so much.